Hello guys, today we are going to discuss about Java interview question set 2. The question is, let's say we run a Java class without passing any arguments, what will be the value of string array of arguments in main method? When a Java class is run without passing any arguments, the string args parameter in the main method will be initialized as an empty array. This means that the args array will exist, but its length will be 0. Args is never null, it is always initialized as an array. If no arguments are passed, args.length will be 0. If arguments are passed, they will be stored in the args array with each argument being a string. The next question, what is the difference between byte and char data types in Java? In Java, the byte and char data types are both used to store small pieces of data, but they serve very different purposes and have distinct characteristics. Size: byte 8 bits, that is 1 byte. Char 16 bits, that is 2 bytes. Range: byte can be represented integer values from -128 to +127. Char can be represent unsigned integer values from 0 to 65,535. Arithmetic. Byte. You can perform arithmetic operations like addition and subtraction directly. Char. While arithmetic operations can be performed, that is, as a char is internally treated as an unsigned integer. Its primary purpose is not for arithmetic. The next question, what are the main principles of object-oriented programming? The first one is encapsulation. Encapsulation is a bundling of data, that is fields, and methods, that is functions, that operate on the data into a single unit, typically a class. It also involves restricting direct access to some of the object's components to ensure controlled interaction. Inheritance. Inheritance allows a class, that is child or subclass, to inherit fields and methods from another class, that is parent or superclass. It promotes code reuse and establishes a hierarchical relationships between classes. Polymorphism. Polymorphism means many forms and allows methods or objects to behave differently based on the context. It is primarily achieved through method overloading, that is compile time polymorphism, and method overriding, that is runtime polymorphism. Abstraction. Abstraction is the process of hiding the implementation details of a system and exposing only the essential features of or behavior. It is achieved using abstract classes and interfaces in Java. The next question, what is the difference between object-oriented programming language and object-based programming language? Object-oriented programming languages are designed based on the four core principles: object-oriented programming, that is, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction. They allow the creation and use of classes and objects, as well as support all these principles. The key features of OOPS language. The first point is supports all OOPS principles: encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction. Second, classes and objects. The central idea revolves around creating and using classes and objects. Third point is code reusability. Inheritance allows the reuse of code across classes. The next question, in Java, what is the default value of an object reference defined as an instance variable in an object? The answer is, when an object reference is declared as instance variable, a variable that belongs to an object and is not declared inside a method, constructor, or block, it is automatically assigned a default value. The default value for any reference type in Java is null. The next question, why do we need constructor in Java? The point is object initialization. A constructor is used to initialize the fields of an object. It ensures that an object is in invalid state immediately after it is created. The second point, overloaded constructors. Constructors can be overloaded to provide multiple ways of initializing an object, giving flexibility to the programmer. The third point is default constructor. If no constructor is explicitly defined, Java provides a default constructor with no parameters which initializes field with their default values. The next question, why do we need default constructor in Java classes? To instantiate objects without parameters, a default constructor allows you to create objects without providing any arguments. If a class has other parameterized constructors and no default constructor is defined, you cannot create objects without arguments. Compiler provided default constructor. If you do not explicitly define any constructors in a class, the compiler provides a default constructor with no parameters that initializes all instance variables to their default values. Example, 0 for numbers, false for boolean, and null for objects. The next question, what is the value returned by constructor in Java? In Java, constructor do not return any value, not even void. A constructor is a special type of method used to initialize an object, and its primary role is to set up the initial state of the object rather than return value. No return type. A constructor does not have a return type, not even void. If a return type is specified, it is treated as a regular method, not a constructor. Constructors in Java do not return any value, not even void. Their primary role is to initialize objects, and they implicitly return the instance of the class being created. The next question, can we inherit a constructor? No, constructors cannot be inherited in Java. However, they can be invoked explicitly using the super or these keywords to initialize the parent class or current class, respectively. Constructors cannot be inherited in Java because they are not part of the inheritance chain. Constructors are not a member of the class. In Java, constructors are special methods that are not considered part of class inheritance chain. They are bound to the specific class where they are defined and are not inherited like fields or methods. The last question, why constructors cannot be a final, static, or abstract in Java? In Java, constructors cannot be declared as final, static, or abstracts due to the fundamental principle of how constructors and these modifiers functions. Why constructors cannot be final? The final keyword in Java indicates that the method cannot be overridden by subclasses. However, constructors are not inherited in Java, so there is no question of overriding them. Declaring a constructor as a final would not make a sense because constructors are specific to the class they belong to and are not part of the class inheritance mechanism. Thank you.